I went to TGNY when I was 21 years old. I got my first store, and one of the youngest guys, I'd come home and, hey, Mom, I'm manager, one of the youngest. And my mom says, yeah, what are you doing for the Lord? Oh, okay. So a few years later, I say, hey, Mom, I've got all Western Oklahoma, all the stores. I'm the district manager. And my mom says, yeah, David, what are you doing for the Lord? And so I'm convinced if I say, hey, Mom, I'm president of the United States, she'd say the same thing. She is just totally, totally unimpressed with anything that didn't have to do, if your platform was not to serve the Lord and do something that it was eternal.
Let's talk about that for a second, though, David, because for a while, you really did feel like a black sheep. You had other brothers and sisters in the ministry. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I think there was a while because I don't know that my mom and dad, I love them, and I don't hold it against them, but I don't know that they know that you could be in full-time ministry as a merchant or as anything for that matter, whatever God calls us to do. And there was a time that I went to a large meeting where there was missionaries from all over the world, and they were receiving monies to give literature to these third world countries, which is very important. And I don't know what I gave, $5, $1, $10, I don't know what I gave. But on the way back, I was flying back home, and in the plane, God asked me to give $30,000. I didn't have $30,000, so, but I knew he was doing that. I was asking that, and so I talked to Barbara about it, and we said, how can we do this? And so we said, well, we can write 4 checks a month apart, $7,500 apiece. And so that's what we thought we ought to do and tried to do. So I wrote 1 good check and 3 hot checks. And I knew I wasn't going to run for any office or anything, so I thought that would be all right. So what was important for me, God knew I needed it. It was the date that we wrote those, the post date on that was the same date that 4 of these missionaries stayed over to pray for literature. And that was confirmation, and I've had other confirmations since then, that I can be just as anointed and just as called to be a businessman as my brothers and sisters that are pastors.